Vincent from HDTVTEST put out his review of the TCL Q825, and today I'm going to be relieving some of the misinformation that he's kind of placed out in the AV space with his review, particularly in his HDR portion of it. Now, to specify, there is no industry standard for HDR. HDR is every bit as standardless as it was in 2015 when it first launched. Now, Vincent in his review goes on to complain that TCL and Samsung are over-brightening the EOTF curve. This is something that he's been whining and complaining about for the longest time, propagating it as an actual fact. But in reality, it's up to the content creator and manufacturer of products and goods to decide their current path or track or how they want to implement HDR in general. Now, enthusiasts don't like this. They prefer the washed out colors that favor more detail. The enthusiasts are the snobbiest of the snobbiest, and they are literally the pixel counters amongst customers. But the reality is the average consumer is not like that. More average consumers buy products than paid reviewers and enthusiasts. So businesses are trying to drive the most traffic in sales and overall revenue, which is the reason they open their business in the first place, towards, again, what the consumer is asking for. Now, if we look at economics, supply and demand is economics 101. The people want brighter, more punchy TVs, and that's what they're going to make. And I think that's really the problem that a lot of these enthusiasts and paid-off reviewers are facing. They just don't like the demand of the market, and they're trying to control it through, again, groupthink, and it just doesn't work when one TV looks so much better for a certain use than another. Factor in color science. The greater the luminosity, the more colors you can achieve. This is why certain shades of green will be brighter and more photorealistic on a QLED display, regardless of brand, if it has a certain amount of peak nits behind it. OLED doesn't have this capability. It does hit that ceiling really hard and relatively fast because, again, it does have ABL kicking in and restricting its overall luminosity. This, again, is one of the things that keeps OLED from growing and makes it a dead-end technology. But even still, OLED guys do have a huge advantage on their side, and that is, again, the pixel illumination side of things. And of course, the TCL is not going to be a replacement for that pixel level dimming, and that is one of the biggest benefits of OLED, which is the only reason, in my opinion, that keeps it in the conversation as even being remotely relevant and an idea of what you should buy in 2019, because simply put, between WRGB colors and hitting that ceiling of luminosity, preventing the color volume from expanding, it's just dead-end technology right now as far as colors are concerned. And if you are somebody that really likes colors, like most consumers, that's going to be a big problem. Now, again, if you like washed colors, that is completely your preference. It's okay. I mean, really, you can choose however you want to watch TV. I think that's the idea here. It's about consumer choice versus enthusiast preference. It's the pompous, the pretentious crowd that will try to control how TVs are made and affect your viewing experiences, when in reality, it is up to you. Now, the reality of the situation is all content is different and they do need different settings, and HDR does exasperate this quite a bit because it throws off gamma and other things that makes a TV look a certain way. Again, if you've graded a film before, or you've graded a YouTube video, or even a family video on your camera, you know that when you're dealing with things and you have to color grade, you're trying to, again, shoot flat and then go in and make your image as punchy and as sharp as you want. But they don't have the option to do that on HDR because there is always some sort of downside that they're going to have to compensate for when, again, working on a $30,000 reference monitor and scaling that quality to a consumer end TV that has tons of scale back. So the reality is we're getting the most degraded form of the director's intent. So even though their ambitions are kind of noble in that they're trying to get you towards director's intent, it's just not possible when you look at the limitations that we have today, and factoring in, again, all content is different. Now, to be fair to Vincent from HDTVTEST, TCL's menu is still an issue. I recently calibrated a TCL, the R625. And I had that over the weekend, and I'm telling you guys right now, it was the same as the R627 in the form of, again, when you get in there and you try to use basic things, you have to download the Roku app. Now, you can advanced calibrate all you want to. Most people probably aren't going to use that. You need to download that app if you want to do things like change your noise reduction options. And I think that is just the dumbest thing, that TCL doesn't bake basic picture processing options into their TV. Now, that being said, again, it's up to personal preference. Maybe some people like their TV being half-baked and using an app. Maybe they feel like it's more into the future. I don't know. But the reality is, if Vincent from HDTVTEST hates the HDR implementation and hates the overall performance of this TCL to the point of having the lowest energy I've seen in a long time on a YouTube video, then it's probably a genuine threat to OLED, and it actually makes me a little bit more excited to see it myself in person, because I know that now TCL at the very least is favoring the type of image that most people have the most positive feedback towards, which is a vibrant, punchy display that favors the future of quantum dot technology and the growth of color science. And that's just the reality of the situation. TVs are supposed to get up to 12-bit. No way that they can do that if they're still favoring washed out imagery, because again, 12-bit color is a whole new world of color we have yet to even see. That being said, I did want to make this video to just specify that HDR is standardless, and again, there is no right or wrong way to implement HDR, and if you're one of the sticklers out there getting misinformed because, again, HDTVTEST or anyone else, just know that you are free to choose whatever TV you want, watch whatever content you want, and the manufacturers are free to implement anything they want until there's a standard. At which point in time, then yes, follow the standard, but again, we're not there. Thanks for watching the #1 brand in honesty. If you like this video, smack a big thumbs up, letting me know how I did today, and also if you found it maybe quite garbage and you didn't really like what I had to say today, that's cool too. Let me know in the comment section so I can better improve in future videos for you. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, I'll see you guys later.